Hey there, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Rob Arnold, and today I'd like to show you the guitars I'd hope to be able to bring with me if I were stranded on a desert island. Okay, so I'm not stranded on a desert island, but it is somewhat of a relatable situation where I had to quickly decide what guitars I needed to bring with me so that I could do what I needed to do if I didn't have access to my complete arsenal. It's currently the spring of 2020, and the entire world is in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, and my state of Ohio has been given that order to kind of, shelter in place and only essential workers go out, all that sort of thing. So a few days ago, rumors started spreading around Ohio that was going to happen, and I started just mentally preparing for moving everything from my recording studio in downtown Cleveland here to my house to be able to operate and do what I needed to be able to do to still work on audio and video. And part of that was deciding what guitars to bring with me. So that's what I'd like to go over today, kind of just go over the history of them, talk a little bit about them, and why I decided to bring them with me. So we're going to start here with what I'd kind of consider my workhorse guitar, and that is the ESP GL56. This is a George Lynch custom, and I never liked Strats. I never had a thing for Strats ever in the past, but maybe around like 2010, I started getting interested in them. I'd see them, and I just decided maybe I wanted one for the house or for on the tour bus just to jam on, something about it. So I started visiting local guitar shops while on the road and trying them out, and I didn't really fall in love with one. But one day I saw this online or in the ESP catalog, and another thing was that I was just about to begin writing the 2011 6 Feet Under record, Undead, and I just wanted a new guitar. I wanted some sort of new sound, something different, something to separate it from Chimera, the guitars I had always used, that kind of sound. So, I mean, my style was going to be the same anyways, but I thought maybe a different guitar could help with that. So I saw this and I decided to try it out, and I loved it. It originally came with a Duncan Pearly Gates in the bridge position here, and it had 2 single coils, but like all my guitars, I have them modified or built so that it just has a humbucker in the bridge position. I eliminated the toggle switch and the tone knob, and I put the volume knob in the tone position. That's how I do all my guitars. I just always had a thing where I'd hit my pinky against the volume knob when it was in its normal position there, so early on I started moving that there. You'll see that on all my other guitars as well. But because this guitar has a fixed bridge, it's kind of why I consider it my workhorse, because I can tune it up any way I like to. And if you know anything about me or have seen any of my other videos where I talk about how to maintain a Floyd Rose and keep it behaving the way it should, it's all about keeping it in one tuning, using the same gauges all the time, and pretty much even the same brand of strings. If you're going to change any of those things, you need to reset your Floyd. And I have videos showing how to do that and how to get that going for you, which I'll link up here if you'd like to check those out. But if you have a fixed bridge, you can get away with a lot more, and so I can tune this to see if I need to, D, E, all that. It's usually my E guitar and my drop D guitar. Just drop this 6 string to D, and I have a drop D. So yeah, it just does whatever I need to do. It's my quick go-to grab guitar here. So anyway, started using it for 6 Feet Under back in 2011. Wrote that whole record on this and recorded it as well. And a little funny side note, Brian Slagle, the owner of Metal Blade, great guy, when I came down for rehearsals with 6 Feet Under, I could tell he didn't like this guitar. I didn't think much of it at the time. And then we played our first show, and even afterwards he said, "What's up with that guitar? I don't think it sounded good." And in reality, in hindsight, I think that he just didn't like the way it looked, because yeah, it doesn't look very metal. Steve, the other guitarist, had this big, King V or something, or a Rhodes V, and just long hair and super metal, and I'm this short hair guy with this brown beat up Strat, So, Brian, you were right back then. I just didn't realize at the time. Like I said, hindsight's 2020. But anyways, this really, if I had to take one guitar, even though my favorite guitar is one of my custom ESPs, which we'll look at here in a second. If I had to take one guitar, I'd probably take this just because it doesn't have the Floyd and it's easier to work with. I do love playing Floyds though. I love that ability to be able to dive that whammy bar or pull it back, things like that. But this thing is just a beast. It's built super tough. It already looks like crap, so you can, you know, I don't care if it gets beat up. Really, I do, because I like keep all my guitars nice and clean and polished up and everything. And this is even, it's got a nice gloss on it. It's still nice and polished, but stays in tune great. The intonation's always just right on. It's just a really nice guitar, and I actually recommend them. So yeah, the GL56 here was the first one I grabbed. Let's take a look at another. All right. There she is. This is the RA3. So I talked a little bit about this one in my latest episode of Everything You Love, which at the time is Everything You Love episode 12, and I talked about how this was one of my first custom 6 strings, and what is actually my RA600 signature series, no longer in production, but you can still find them on eBay, things like that, is based off of this guitar. And this I would just consider to be my baby here. Perfect in every way. The perfect weight, the perfect feel, the sustain. Just have a great interaction with it. And that's what I think great guitars are all about, or guitars that you like. It's more about the interaction. It isn't so much about specs and just the little minutiae of it like that. It's more about, first, I think the way it looks catches your eye. And then when you touch it and play it, you know, when you sit there in a guitar center sometimes, when you find just that one, your riffs sound better on it. You're feeling more creative. It's just that perfect guitar. And maybe you buy it and take it home, or you think about it for a long time. Wayne and that white Strat, you know, in Wayne's World there. So anyways, this is the one for me where it just feels perfect in every single way. Sounds perfect, plays perfect. Just, it takes care of me, and I hope to take care of it. The RA3, alder body, maple neck, natural satin back here, which I like. Ebony fretboard, EMG 81. What else can I say? Floyd, the typical, yeah, just 81 in the bridge position, one volume there. Yeah, custom chaos. And like I said, my RA600s are based off this, and we may take a look at one a little bit later, but the 600s are just as pristine, and I back those 100%. Still play one every single day. But like I said, this is my baby right here, the RA3. All right, this, the RA4. Another one of my custom ESPs here. This one I'm so proud of just because of that paint job. Look at that. That's the Chimera self-titled Chimera Beast there, you know, from the album cover there. Got this one around 2011. One thing I didn't mention about the RA3, I got that about 2006, and it has a twin, but doesn't have the pick guard and has slightly different inlays. This also has a twin, the RA5. Some of you may have seen that. It's got that cherry sunburst finish. It's my only guitar that also has a 85 in the neck. I should say it's my only guitar that actually has a neck pickup. And that's the twin of this. But the RA4 here, this is when I was in that kind of Strat mode like I was talking about, and so therefore, you know, I got that Strat headstock, and that body style. I gotta say though, while I absolutely love my RA4 and 5, I probably would no longer get any guitars like this. I still like the M style ESP body as my favorite there, and any guitars I would get in the future would be that. But it's still cool to have a couple of these. You gotta try it before you buy it. You know, you gotta try it to know if you like it or not. But this thing is just magical in every single way. I just love the chrome. All that chrome, the mirrored finish, and the inlays there again, and the same with all my guitars: alder, maple, ebony, 81, Floyd, Spurzels. So they're all pretty much the same like that. Why do I play alder? Why do I like maple? That sort of thing? Because Kirk Hammett did. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I don't really care. Again, it's all about how it looks, sounds, feels, plays, and then the interaction you have with that guitar. And if that's special, you're going to write better riffs, you're going to be more creative, you're going to sound better, it's going to stay in tune better just because it just sounds and feels better. So that's really what I believe in the end of the day. So one of my favorites here for sure. I know you guys have been seeing this a lot in the past couple videos. I've just been having some fun with it and playing it a lot. Love this guitar. Thank you, ESP. You know, one thing I didn't mention is why I'm bringing some of these home. Like I said, the GL56 can be in pretty much any tuning. The last two we looked at here, the RA4 and the RA3, are my two drop C guitars that are always in drop C. I have a bunch of them that are always in drop C, but these are my two main go-tos. And every once in a while, you plug it in, I'm recording something, and for some reason, it's a particular part just isn't feeling right or something. And so if I have another option, another drop C guitar that I love, like let's say in this case, the other one would be the RA3, it's just another option to try. And so it's nice to have that. You know, you could say that about snare drums or something like that, you know? For the recording, you know, or let's say you love this snare, you're jamming on it, it's the perfect snare, but for some reason it just isn't sitting well in the mix. So you try another snare. That one just has some ping you don't like, you try another snare. So a lot of the time, the guitar, the instrument, the tool that you use is just happens to be what's right for that particular job. And so that's why I brought home two drop C guitars, which is my main tuning. Next up, a lot of you guys will know this one here. This is the RA1, my custom 7-string here. This one has the horizon type body rather than the M. It's still the M shape, but it's got that horizon, which is an ESP thing, which is like a concave, like that, which honestly I don't like. I didn't know when I got this, really, I didn't know what H was or M was, horizon versus that M there, which there's certainly nothing wrong with it, but I prefer the M. I like the guitar to be flat rather than have this ramp there. I can't really say why other than it's just something about the feel. And while I love this guitar, for sure, again, you have to try something before you know for sure. And by having this guitar with the H style, I've determined that I like the M body better. So this is the RA1. It isn't named that because I didn't know there was going to be an RA2 at the time. You know, when I first got this custom back in 2001, maybe 2002, you know, I had no idea that I would have many more custom guitars and just be blessed like that, which is such an awesome thing. So anyways, but killer here, same thing. Alder, maple. This one actually has a painted neck. Again, had to get this to realize that I don't think a painted neck is quite as fast. I can even feel that there's slightly more friction there, you know, than I like. So a natural satin has a nice oil to it where the paint, my hand kind of sticks to it more. And it's different for everybody. Neck through, like most of them. This is the EMG 707 in here, which I believe is a Dino pickup. One of the first models of the 7-string pickups there. Again, ebony, killer guitar, plays great. Love it in every way, and needed it in case I needed a 7-string guitar. Missing a nut screw there because it kind of stripped out after all these years. Can you believe that screw didn't last 19 years? But I brought home a brand new one. So while we're here, next time I restring this, I'm going to put a brand new nut on that guy. And so that'll be cool. Brand new hardware, always feels good. And you know, the guys at ESP have been so great. Shout out to Todd Binder there, who, you know, back in the day sent me just bags of all the parts I'd ever need. Every little piece, every little screw that are used on ESP guitars, I have in little bags, little cases and everything like that for anything or that I or my techs would need to do on the road or in the studio and anything like that. So it's nice to just have all those parts and be able to keep your guitars in tip-top shape, which is something I totally believe in, taking care of them and they'll take care of you. Keep them cleaned up, polished up, sounding good, all your components in working order, you know, just like an automobile, something like that, you know. The better everything's working, the more streamlined everything's going to be and more harmony within the engine. Okay. Last guitar I brought home here. Still more to show you, but this is the last guitar I brought home here. And this is a special one. This is the third RA600 prototype. So when we were designing the RA600, I wanted it to, I really like the ESP M-1000s. And, but there were some changes I wanted to make, which I'll get into. You know, so when they start building a guitar before they have it ready to go on the shelves to sell or to hang on the wall to sell, you know, they make one, and then there's something about it that you don't like. Maybe it could be something as simple as, oh, the inlays didn't turn out right, or my signature is in the wrong place on the headstock, or in this particular case, it's missing the binding. But there's some things about this one. So you make some refinements, and then they make another one until it's exactly the way you want it, and then they start mass producing those. So this was the final one before the actual RA600 came around, and this one has a see-through finish where the actual RA600s are not see-through. It's just jet black, which I prefer for this style. I love this nice see-through. This top there is super nice, but I prefer it to be not see-through. This pick guard is like more yellow than white, and I actually feel it like it's like an old newspaper that's turning yellow over time. But everything else is cool. The first and second models of these I actually have over in Europe as part of Camira's European backline, and there was some things like that, like some things I mentioned, like where the signature was different, and the LTD was actually like this cursive rather than these block letter abalone ones here. Just some different things, but anyways, this is in just E, and I like to have a guitar at E with me at all times that has a Floyd. Like I said, that GL56, I can put it in E if I need to, but I like one with a Floyd as well, so if I want to play some Metallica tunes, some Megadeth tunes, stuff like that, I have an E guitar ready to go all the time, and this is my weapon of choice. And so finally, I needed a bass for the house. This is just kind of a lower end. This is a B204, but it sounds great. Let me tell you just a little bit about this here. It's in drop C. All the specs are available, ESP.com, because this is a current model. A couple years ago, I needed a couple basses, and so I got this one sent to me and a Frank Bello signature. Now that Frank Bello, I got to tell you, is the nicest bass, not only that I've ever owned. I haven't owned many, but it's the nicest bass I've ever seen. Check those out. The Frank Bello custom ESPs are just impeccable. But for a recent recording project, I was getting some tones ready, doing some stuff, and this one actually worked better. Like I was describing before, a lot of times it's just what's better for the part, and just because that Frank Bello is probably, I don't know, 5 times as expensive as this, and has better parts and all that. As I said, this is a lower end one. This one was the tool for the job and just sounded great. But that's the thing about ESP. Every instrument plays fantastic. Every instrument sounds fantastic, stays in tune well. All the parts are great. And it's just a cool bass. So fortunate to have this, and this is what I have here at home for what I need to reach for a bass, the B204. So that's going to do it for what I brought home today, but I do have a couple bonus guitars to show you. Guitars that I already had here at the house. I feel like I've gotten a lot of questions about the M-1000 recently, and this here is my home M-1000. I actually have a few of these because prior to getting my customs in 2006, these are basically all I played. Very early on, my first ESPs were Vipers, along with my custom 7-string there. But then I got away from the Vipers and started going with the M-1000 because I wanted the Floyd. And these guitars, these deluxe M-1000s, are perfect. They are so awesome. Play great, sound great. But then there were a couple little things, little modifications that I thought I could make to make it perfect for myself. And that's how the RA600 came to be. So the RA600 is based off of the specs of this guitar right here, the M-1000. But I liked a ebony fretboard over the rosewood fretboard on here. Again, I think ebony is faster than rosewood, just like the back of the neck. The back of the neck on this guy is painted, and I think a natural satin neck is faster. Didn't need the 81 in the neck position, so eliminated that. So then didn't need a toggle switch, didn't need a tone knob, moved the volume knob to the tone position there, and put some Spurzels on there, and the RA600 is born. But still, I play these all the time. Great workhorse guitar. This is I use these as what I call, I don't know if you can see this here, for my dressing room and bus guitars. So it's a little something you can throw in the closet of the bus, or if I'm warming up in the dressing room that night before shows. This is in my touring career from a decade ago, but I'd always have M-1000s just on the road for that reason, and it would be great to warm up with. yeah, so just fantastic guitars. Do they still make these? Somebody let me know in the comments. I don't know, but a lot of people ask about them, and man, I stand by them 100%. So yeah, my home jammer, when I'm just writing riffs at home, a lot of killer riffs have been written on this guy right here. It's M-1000. And finally, let's take a look at an RA600, but a special one. All right, this particular RA600 right here. So I've been talking about the RA600s and how they were based off of really the design and the specs of the M-1000, but the look of my RA3. And so there you have it. Beautiful in every way. But what's special about this, and just why I thought I'd mention it, is this tag right here. It's got a serial number and says Chimera Lender, Chimera Case 8.5. Not exactly sure what all that refers to, but this was the guitar that was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And was fortunate enough to be asked to give him one there. I think we still have a like a bass drum head there. Maybe Mark's dreads are in there from when he cut those off. I don't know. But I had a guitar in there. But when I left the band back in 2011, I was just feeling a lot of emotions then. It was mixed up just in everything. I had some resentment, some anger, a lot of uncertainty, things like that. And I decided to contact the Rock Hall and get this guitar back. Why? I don't know. Again, it was just like an emotional thing. But something I totally regret now because, I don't know, could I call them and ask them, hey, I still got this guitar, do you want to put it back in there? I don't know what they'd say. I'm not going to do that. But the fact that I could have still had it in there, and, you know, it's something special to be able to say that, you know, at the time that I have a guitar in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Really something special, just that I've just been blessed with this opportunity in life to be able to just play guitar. I mean, how awesome is that? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I can no longer say that, and I regret taking it out. But still, cool. This guitar was in the Rock Hall. All right, well, I think that's going to do it. Appreciate everybody who's spent the time with me here, and glad I was able to show you part of my arsenal here. I've gotten so many requests over the months now just to see all my guitars, and while this isn't all of them, I still have, I don't know, 15 or 20 more maybe. But these are the ones that, when accounted, I needed to grab. And so I thought it'd be cool to make this video about that so you guys could see what was most important to me there. Thanks so much for watching. Everybody that's subscribed to the channel so far, thank you so much. Totally appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Consider that. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button there. It really helps me out. Check out my Patreon campaign. Follow me on the socials, and I will see you on the next video.